the Sci-Mic stage. Welcome to the Sci-Mic stage. We are interviewing scientists all day today and tomorrow. And today we have Dr. Sue Grigson. And you focus on, your research focuses on substance abuse and addiction. And you have a session tomorrow at 4 p.m., is that correct?
Yes, I do.
And it isn't quite on substance abuse, but can you tell us a little bit about your session before we get into this?
Yeah, well, my session tomorrow actually is on substance abuse.
Okay, I didn't do good research.
You did good research. But what the session is talking about is the use of GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic, which ordinarily are used for the treatment of type 2 diabetes or obesity.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But using it for the treatment of substance use disorder.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna get into this. Since you do your research focus on substance abuse and addiction, what are some common or even dangerous misconceptions when it comes to substance abuse research? Is there any? I assume there is.
Well, I think that I guess I would think mostly about misconceptions related to perhaps substance use disorder.
Yes.
And I think the biggest one has to do with stigma, and everyone's probably heard plenty about that. And that is the idea that an individual who has a substance use disorder has a choice and could engage in different behavior. And, it is a disease, it's a chronic disease, it's a brain disease. And, once the brain's been changed, choices are fewer and narrowed. So I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about substance use disorder.
How did you find yourself in this field? Was there a moment in your path that kind of put you on this path to doing research with substance abuse, or was it by luck, by chance?
Well, it was in a way by chance. I was initially studying how rodents. My work has been primarily preclinical, and now I've started to translate into starting to work with humans, people. And so initially I was looking at how rats compared, different kinds of rewards, low rewards and high rewards, and, discovered that if the rodent had the opportunity to take morphine or cocaine, they did not care a whole lot about a sweet solution. And so suddenly I was looking at how substances, addictive substances, could devalue natural rewards. And that made me think a lot about the behavior of individuals with a substance use disorder who, it's really a behavior change that helps us to know what the problem is, because individuals won't sometimes pay attention to their kids or their health or their work. And I had a friend who had a substance use disorder, and I really had difficulty understanding it. It was sort of early in my learning about it, and really it was the behavior change, I think, that told the story. And even the DSM-5, as they try to categorize and substance use disorder, you're really looking at behavior change.
So what is DSM-5 one more time?
Oh, so sorry. The Diagnostic Statistical Manual, it's basically the manual that mostly psychiatrists and other physicians, non-physicians, put together in order to try to identify, understand any kind of psychiatric disorder. So in this case, substance use disorder, but it might be anxiety, depression, or any other sort of disorder.
Okay, and you did bring some slides today.
I did.
So tell us what is happening with this Time magazine cover here.
So this Time magazine shows some work that by a fellow named Barber, who's big in the field, and a clear understanding that drugs of abuse do hijack natural reward substrates. So there's lots of data to show that those areas of the brain that are important for reward are hijacked by drugs. But what we were thinking is, and I'll move us to our next slide, and that is, but what about the need pathway? Because when
that's a great slide.
When I thought about my people I know with a substance use disorder, I really wondered, you wonder why would they do the things they do? Why would they take such chances? Why would this goat be, 100 feet up off the ground, perched precariously on the side of a cliff? And that is because it desperately needs salt and calcium, and that's where it's going to find it. So that made us think, okay, maybe these individuals are needing this drug.
Okay.
And so that's what led us to the GLP-1, the Ozempic-like drugs, because we were thinking, okay, if they cause satiety for people who are driven
What's
to
satiety?
Satiety. Thank you. Sorry. So if they help people to, feel less hungry, less motivated to eat food, could they help people to feel less motivated to take drugs?
Wow.
And so first we started to look at that in animal models, and it works very, very well to block the seeking of heroin and fentanyl from many other laboratories, also cocaine and nicotine.
Wow.
It's very, very effective in the animal models. There are now human data, clinical trials, and other sorts of clinical test studies, and then what we'll be showing is a little bit of our own data, which I have. We got supported through something called the Healing Initiative, which I thought a little bit about last night when we were listening
to Dr. Yamamoto's address.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you. Just in terms of breaking down the walls, because that's what this Healing Initiative has done. It's crossed all the institutes many of the institutes at the NIH.
Okay.
In order to try to address this problem, because our loss of life relative to substance use disorder has gotten, exceedingly high. Last year, we lost over 112,000 people in the United States alone. It's one person every 5 minutes.
Jeez.
So, that's what's helped us to know we have to, look outside of the box. We have to consider other possibilities. So we wrote this grant in order to ask this question. And my colleague, Scott Bunce, he's here at the meeting as well. We're co-PIs on the grant project. And so we were able to test this at the Caron Treatment Center, which is not near our College of Medicine, and in individuals in residential treatment. And
so you are testing on humans. This is a clinical trial with humans.
Yes, and it's just been completed.
Wow.
So
okay.
Tomorrow I'll show the data.
But we don't get like a sneak peek of that.
You do, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You do. One sneak peek. But before I show it,
okay,
I just want to say that, and tell me how many minutes I have. 3.
You have 3 more minutes.
Okay. So
I'll give you 1 more. 4 more minutes.
Okay. So what we have found is that the GLP-1 agonist, the one we looked at, is called liraglutide. They received that injection once a day. The dose went up as it is usually titrated for type 2 diabetes. And we used something called ecological momentary assessment, which is basically where they get asked questions, on their phone 4 times a day. So we're able to find out how they feel right now, not them try to say, well, yesterday I don't think I craved it much. We want to know how much are you craving it right now on a scale of 0 to 4. And the individuals who had it was a double-blind study, so it was run the way it needs to be run to have all the controls that are necessary. And the individuals who had the GLP-1 agonist showed less craving, statistically significantly less craving. The drug was effective beginning with the lowest dose. We're happy about that, because we want to know that the people are going to be protected right away, that we don't have to go up as you do for type 2 diabetes, for example, to a higher dose. One of the other things we asked was about zero craving, and this shows what's the probability of zero craving. So these are for folks who have a long opioid substance use disorder, and on the bottom is the placebo. Those are the folks who got the placebo. So going across about 20 days of training, 20 days of treatment, the individuals on the placebo showed almost no evidence of zero craving. That wasn't the case for the folks on liraglutide. They showed
it's past like 80%.
Oh, well,
right?
it was statistically significant by about the 10th day, on the 10th day, which was the middle way of the middle dose, and then it increased from there. There's a faint line in the middle, and that's the number. The other around it is the sort of the variability. So it's
Okay.
Okay.
Don't get too excited.
But it was overall we had about a 40% reduction in craving. So
Wow.
and just that they would be able to experience zero craving at any time of the day, we felt was a very positive thing. And I'll just say in my last moment that nothing is going to be a panacea. Nothing, no medicine or treatment's going to work for everybody. And so this is not FDA approved for the treatment of substance use disorders yet. But we'll work as fast as we can along with others to try to get it to the point where it's available. So far, it's passed all of our safety measures.
Wow. Okay, so what are you most excited about then? Like, what is the next step that you hope is going to happen?
Well, for us, what we'll be doing is making sure to, publish our data.
Yeah.
We heard about that last night, right? No good if we don't do that. But also, we'll be moving to the outpatient setting, and we'll be testing about 200 people. This study, we actually had only 20. So it was a small sample size, which is a limitation I'm happy to be able to indicate. But yeah, we'll move to a large study. We're going to also switch to semaglutide, another formulation of the Ozempic. It is Ozempic, actually. And that has promised to be more effective even. So I'm hopeful.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. I'm hopeful too. I'm also feel really good that we got to see this before tomorrow.
You did.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
They're next. You did great. You're like checking time for me. I didn't even have to. I was like, this is great.
Thank you so much. You
Yeah.
did such a nice job.
Oh, thank you.